So next, I want to ask each of you individually about your voting history and your voting plans. I'm gonna take you go through each of you one at a time, and I'm gonna move pretty quickly. All right. So keep your answers concise. So Bettina, I want to start with you. As I understand it from our screening questions, you told us you plan to vote for Harris when we screened you.
Mhm.
Since that time, has that changed at all?
No, I'm not as far into her as I thought, but right now I'm still leaning more towards her.
Okay. Why do you plan to vote for
I just feel that she feels my struggle.
her? Okay. Have you given serious thought to voting for Trump?
Yes,
So if Trump came to you and asked, "What do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me?" What would you tell him?
I need you to understand the middle class struggle, the lower class struggle. You've never I don't know much about his upbringing, but I feel like he could just lend a better ear and maybe understands what the rest of us have gone through just because he hasn't been there.
Okay. So in 2020, you didn't vote.
I did not.
Why are you voting now when you didn't vote the last time?
I felt a lot like Ashley did. Like, is my vote even gonna count? Am I gonna pick the lesser of two evils? Like, I didn't understand either of them, either direction. I just didn't feel like I could make a comfortable decision
Okay.
and back it up. If I can't make a comfortable decision and back it up, I'm Ashley. I'd rather not vote. I'd rather not vote for the wrong person. I'd rather just not vote.
Okay. So you have more comfort this time in making a choice and being comfortable with the outcome than you did the last time around. Is
It,
that what I'm hearing?
yes, yes. These, I guess, maybe the advertisements have made me feel like my voice can be heard. This go around, I feel more like I have a little bit more power.
Got it. Okay, great. And is there anybody in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you'll vote for?
Oh no,
Yeah. All right. Sabrina, I'm going to take you next. So I understand that when we conducted our screening interview with you, you told us that you were undecided but leaning toward Harris.
Mhm.
Has anything changed since that time?
No, oh well, I'm leaning more towards Harris. I feel like that's who I'm gonna vote for.
Okay. So on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is definitely not going to vote for Harris and 10 is definitely going to vote for Harris, how likely are you to vote for her?
I'm gonna say 7.
Okay. And in this decision process, was there ever a time when you were more likely to vote for Trump than for Harris?
Um, yeah, before I did more research into Kamala's policies, um, I was leaning more towards him because I did like how I wasn't struggling as much when he was president. Um, and that's what I liked about him. But
Okay.
now that I've heard Kamala's policies more, there's certain things that I just really like.
Like what? Like what policies have heard do you really like?
So I like the whole 25,000 um, over 4 years for first-time home buyers. Um, and then I had them written down, but
Don't look them up. Don't look them up.
oh, okay, sorry.
That's all right.
But that was one that's really significant, sticking out to me. Because they would directly affect me. I would be a first time home buyer.
Got it. Okay. So if Trump came to you and asked, "What do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me?" What would you tell him?
I would tell him that you need to kind of watch your mouth a little bit. If you could probably try to, be a little more respectful to people, even if you do think that that person's below you. If you could lead for everybody, maybe not hold grudges or something, and just be a leader for everyone, and not, bully, then that.
Okay. So in 2020, you didn't vote. Why are you voting now when you didn't vote the last time?
The last time, I kind of felt like Biden was gonna win. I don't know why. So I wasn't really concerned with it, especially with COVID going on. I have a severe immune disorder, and I could have done the mail-in one, but I just really wasn't concerned with it. And kind of with what Ashley said about votes even counting. I mean, it basically comes down to the Electoral College, and that's who the actual president is. So, I mean, it's nice to have your voice heard, but I mean, it doesn't mean that it's I'm not in the Electoral College, you know what I mean?
Okay. Got it. So is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you'll vote for?
Um no, I respect my family and love them, but not, I'm pretty independent when it comes to my decision making when it comes to politics. If that makes sense.
Absolutely. All right, moving on. You guys doing a great job. Ashley, when we did the screening interviews, you said that you plan to vote for Trump. Since that time, has that changed at all?
I think the likelihood has increased a little bit. It's still just me getting out there to actually vote. That's the problem.
Okay. Why do you plan to vote for him?
Like I said, I feel like his views align more with mine, and I feel like he's more capable of doing the position since he's already done it before and has proven himself. And because he has a lot of people who've endorsed him that I respect. So I feel like if they respect him enough to endorse him, then he must be promising for the country.
Okay, so you mentioned Elon Musk. Who else has endorsed him that you respect?
That's the biggest one at the top of my head. I can't remember. Oh, what's his name? It's our lieutenant governor, and I'm like blanking on his name. Mark Robinson. There we go. He's endorsed him. And yeah, I think those are the two big ones.
Okay. Did you ever give any serious thought to voting for Harris?
Not serious. Like I looked at her and I looked at her policies and I've listened to her, but nothing she's ever said or done has persuaded me to even consider her.
Okay. So if she came to you and asked, what do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me? What would you tell her?
Good luck. No, I really don't think there's anything she could say that would make me like fall in love with her, especially in this point in the game. She just doesn't feel genuine. So I feel like anything she said to me still wouldn't be genuine. And I feel like a lot of her policies are more not targeted towards like my group of people, I guess middle class. I feel like she's trying to address just the lower class and things like that. I don't know. I just don't feel like she speaks to me at all.
Okay. So in 2020, you didn't vote. Why are you voting now when you didn't vote back then?
Older and wiser? No, because I am getting older and the economy is really starting to hit us hard as well, and just inflation and costs and job market, all these things are actually starting to impact me and my family. So it's definitely feeling like it's more important this year.
And is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you'll vote for?
Definitely my dad. He's not super vocal about his politics or his ideologies, but we all know, my whole family knows who he endorses and how he thinks and stuff like that. So, and I really respect him, and I look up to him, and I feel like he's been successful in life and is in a good place and stuff. So kind of his thoughts are something that I trust, and his opinions are something that I trust and have really taken seriously in my own life.
Great. Thank you for sharing that. All right, Mark. You're up next. When we conducted our screening interview with you, you told us that you also plan to vote for Trump. Since that time, has that changed at all?
No,
Why do you plan to vote for him?
I think he's got a better grasp on border policies. I think he's got a better grasp on what actually makes the economy work. And I think that his foreign policy is definitely something that he's dealt with in the past and he's capable of dealing with again in the future.
Okay. Did you ever give any serious thought to voting for Harris?
A serious thought? No.
No. Okay. So if she came to you and asked, what do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me? What would you tell her?
I would tell her to put on paper her reason or her plan for spending the amount of money that she wants to spend to try to make the economy better. I hear a lot of talk and I see it on the commercials, and I'd like to know how she plans on paying for that without increasing taxes for everyone.
Okay. So in 2020, you didn't vote. Why are you voting now when you didn't vote the last time around?
I couldn't vote. I caught COVID in 2020, right when it was voting time, so I couldn't. I was supposed to stay home.
Ah, okay, got it. So you would have voted otherwise.
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
Respect. I mean, there's people in my immediate family that have their opinions, and I don't necessarily know that I respect those opinions because they have a pretty closed mind about things. But no, it hasn't affected what I'm going to do at all.
Okay. Great. Thank you. All right, Kevin. So when we interviewed you beforehand, you told us that you're 50-50 between Trump and a third party candidate. Is that still where you are?
Not really. I feel like I'm most likely going to vote for Trump.
Okay. Who was the third party candidate you were thinking of?
I mean, I was thinking of voting for probably, it was more of the idea of a protest vote that I'm extremely dissatisfied with the choices that have been given to me without me having, I feel like, any input on the choice.
Okay. So if you're not 50-50, what are the odds you're going to vote for Trump at this point?
75.
Okay. And what's the other 25%?
You know, I suppose I suppose I'm probably a little bit more than that. Then I suppose I'm almost certainly going to vote for Trump, just because I don't see that there's any good choices, so I might as well make the least worst.
Okay. So did you ever give any serious thought to voting for Harris?
Maybe a little. You know, I was interested to see if she had any kind of real policy ideas that would distinguish her from Trump or from Biden in that matter. But I didn't think she did.
Okay. So if Harris came to you and asked, what do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me? What would you tell her?
I think she would need to become a much more serious person and much more able to, much more open with the American people and with the press, and much more serious about the threats that we face in the world, and making immediate action to work on things, not hand wavy kind of I'll make everything cheaper, you know, platitudes.
Okay. So in 2020, you didn't vote. Why are you voting now when you didn't vote the last time?
I felt that there was no chance for Donald Trump to win in 2020. I felt like, you know, kind of the just like sort of the winds were against him, but between people being very angry at him, and him not doing an excellent job, and then with COVID and all that, I think that just made it where there was no point in voting for him because I didn't think he could win, and I thought Biden was a clown, and I wouldn't vote for him.
Okay. So help me understand this. If you were unimpressed by Trump's performance in office, why are you willing to vote for him again? Vote for him
Because I think the Democrats have done even worse.
So in your mind, Harris is worse than Biden was in 2020.
No, I think she's kind of the exact same thing, but now it's been proven, you know.
Okay. And is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
There's a lot of people who I think I respect, but no one has changed my mind towards anything.
Okay. All right. Tara, last but not least. When we conducted our interview with you, you said you were 50-50 between Trump and Harris. Since that time, has your decision changed? Are you still 50-50 or something else?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm still kind of 50-50 right now. So it could go kind of either way.
Okay. So tell me why you remain undecided.
Because I see for both sides, I kind of see Trump as being like, I think Mark said it earlier, he's like, he doesn't back down. And when Kevin was saying stuff about, the wars and things like that and how he's handled them, his connections, they're there. But on the other side, like Harris is the more hopeful one, that she understands, as Vatina was saying, the middle class. She also understands, the lower class, and she sees our struggle versus, I think, with Trump, he does not. So I'm still kind of 50-50 either way.
Okay. So I want you to imagine, this is the most unfair question I'm going to ask anybody tonight, but and luckily, Tara, you get it.
Okay.
All right. So I want you to imagine you're standing in the voting booth and it's election day. What's going on for you? Are you decided by then, or are you still making up your mind?
I'm probably going to be that one person that will be making up their mind right at the booth, to be
Okay.
honest.
Got it. Okay. So you're standing there, you're making up your mind. Knowing yourself as well as you do, which way do you think you're going to come out?
I'm leaning toward Harris just because she, like I said, she gives that hope and that comfort. I know she has very high standards. Just hoping that she's able to fulfill that, but I'm leaning more towards her. I would say probably about 60%. The other percent probably would be Trump, only because I like his business, how he's business minded. And he's been there before, as some of the other ones were saying, and he can get things done.
Okay. And having watched Trump in office for 4 years, did that give you more confidence in him or less confidence in him?
As far as his business decisions, I would say more confidence. The only thing I did not like is, like you're saying, having the little fights with people on social media and bullying and things like that. That part I didn't like, but he has a lot of connections. And he, like I say, he doesn't back down when it comes to very hard situations. So, yeah, I guess that's my answer for that.
So if Trump came to you and asked, what do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me? What would you tell him?
I would tell him that he needs to pretty much, like I said, take all class of people, whether it's upper class, middle class, lower class, and have more plans for the middle and lower class people.
Okay. So-
That would be,
I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. So let me push you a little bit harder on this
okay.
and focus you a little bit more instead, not push you, but focus you. So we're
Okay.
2 weeks away from the election. In the
Mhm.
next 14 days, what can he do to win you over?
He probably, I would say with him, I would think it's just him being more kind and nice, to be honest with you. If I'm going to answer that honestly, because his business side, I like his business side of him. It would just be his personality and how he handles certain things.
Okay. How confident are you that he could be kind and nice in the next 2 weeks?
Not too confident.
Okay. Let me ask you the same question about Harris. And the rest of you were very nice and let me push on Tara a little bit. If she came to you and said, what do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me? What would you tell her to do in the next 2 weeks?
I would say have a little bit more backbone. I mean, she has the education there. She doesn't quite have all the experience that Trump has as far as being president, but I would just say to her, have a little bit more backbone on what you're doing, and to be a little bit more serious about what you're doing and what position you're about to take.
Okay. You think that she can convince you in the next 2 weeks that she has backbone and can be more serious?
It's a possibility.
Okay. In 2020, you didn't vote. Why are you voting now when you didn't vote then?
It was the same as I was sick that whole entire time, so I was not able to.
Okay. And is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
I would say no. I'm pretty much independent on far as making political decisions. Actually, my family, they're pretty much half and half. One's for Trump, one's for Harris. So, I pretty much stand on my own when it comes to that.
Okay. Got it. All right. Thank you. So I got all 6 of you. For those of you planning to vote for Trump, I'm curious. What would be your reaction if he wins the election, becomes president, and during his first year in office, the economy gets much worse? What do you think your reaction would be? Anybody want to give me a sense? It's just a hypothetical. Ashley, what would your reaction be if you voted for Trump and the economy got much worse?
Kind of frustrated, but then I'd kind of think things get worse before they get better. So that hopeful that it'll get better soon.
Okay. Kevin, what about you?
I think I'd say I'd be surprised because I think there's a lot of stuff about the economy, especially when you look at the stock market and such, that is literally just based on people's feelings.
Mhm.
The stock market goes up and down based on if investors get scared. And I think the business world has signaled in many, many times before that they feel more secure under Trump. So I'd just be surprised if it didn't get better.
Got it. And for those of you planning to vote for Harris, the same thing happened. She takes office, and after the first year, the economy goes down and got much worse. How do you think you'd feel? Sabrina, how would you feel?
Crappy.
Why?
It just kind of that would make it feel hopeless. Like she's supposed to be a more hopeful candidate, I feel like. So that happening and then it just getting worse would just be like, in cartoons where that something's falling, it's like that's how it would feel.
Okay. Bettina, how would you feel if that happened?
I feel like, oh, I should have voted for Trump. I'm the one that said that I was more secure when he was in office last time, and here I go voting for somebody else, and look what happened.
Okay. Got it. So next, what I want to do is ask you individually about your voting history and voting plans. So I'm going to take each of you one at a time. And I'll make this as painless as I possibly can. I'm going to focus on you individually for a few minutes, each of you. All right, so I'm going to start with Nicole. So Nicole, when we conducted a screening interview with you for this focus group, you told us you plan to vote for Harris. Since that time, has anything changed at all?
No.
Why do you plan to vote for her?
Same answer, still less of a vote for her and more of a vote against Trump.
Did you ever give any serious thought to voting for Trump?
No.
If Trump came to you and he asked, what do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me? What would you go tell him?
Probably to try 20 years ago when he was younger, and a little bit more relevant to my perspective and point of view.
So in 2020, you did not vote.
Correct.
Curious, why are you voting now when you didn't vote the last time?
I have 2 young daughters and I feel that there's more at stake.
Is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
Yes, I respect my fiance's perspective, his family's, my family's and friends. And no, I pretty much make up my mind on everything independently.
Okay, great. Charmin, you're next. So when we conducted a screening interview for this focus group, you told us you were undecided but leaning toward Harris. Since that time, has anything changed at all?
Yes.
What?
I think the media coverage and a lot of things I've seen on social media has made my undecisiveness even stronger. And now I'm leaning towards Trump simply because I see the way my life and my family's situation has declined since the Biden-Harris administration. And there's only like one stance of Harris's that I care about. So I think Trump would be a stronger candidate. So I'm leaning towards Trump now.
Okay, so what is the stance that matters the most to you? Of hers?
Women's reproductive rights.
Okay. So help me understand this a little bit. You're concerned about women's reproductive rights. How in your mind, just again, I'm just asking the questions. How in your mind would you justify voting for Trump, who is responsible for naming the Supreme Court justices who overturned Roe v. Wade?
In my mind, I weigh the pros against the cons, and it's just like one against a few others. She only has one, and he has a few others. So even though one is a greater detriment to women, I feel like we're not going to be able to do much in the way of inflation and a poor economy. So I think that my priorities are more in my home, my household, instead of like what's going on in the general. It may be a selfish decision, but there's other issues that I feel like she's too liberal on, and they would have, I feel like 3 or 4 would affect us more than one.
Okay, so apart from the economy, what else is in Trump's column?
I think I liked Trump's stance on border control. Just the economy is the main thing. I feel like that's the first thing that needs to be straightened out before we can even address all of the other issues. And so that's my main reason.
Okay.
And I also feel like he's just like more powerful. I feel like even if she was elected, I don't know how much she would do. So it's like you can win that seat, but what are you going to do once you get into it? Are you going to be strong enough to make a change?
Got it. So you said to me before that you're 70% chance that you're going to vote, 30% that you might not vote.
Mhm.
What's keeping you from saying, I'm definitely voting for Trump?
Again, there is some fear mongering that I've fallen subject to. And so I'm really worried about the Project 2025 agenda. And I feel like if I don't want to make the wrong decision, maybe I should just sit it out. which is why I set out the last election because I couldn't support either candidate. And so that's why, with him, it's the fly off the handle mentality that scares me, and also the allegations of him being racist.
Okay. So, all right, so let me play devil's advocate with you for a second. So Kamala Harris is listening to our conversation and she's saying to herself, oh my God, how could I lose this woman? She thinks Donald Trump is a racist. She thinks that Donald Trump took away her and women's right to an abortion. Yet she's so afraid of the economy and how it's impacting her family that I can't win her. Tell me what you would say to Harris if she came up to you and she made that argument.
I would say you need to be more straightforward with some of the answers that you're putting out in some of the interview clips I've seen. You need to be more present with what your actual stances are. I just can't gauge her, and just, speak up more. Just, be more assertive.
So Trump's listening to the same conversation. He's going, wow, I got her. She's at 70% to vote. And if she's going to vote, she's going to vote for me. He's going to ask you, how do I get you to 100%? Sharman, what does he need to do?
I don't really think there's nothing that he can do because we've seen him, in the public for so long. So it's nothing he can really do now to change my opinion of him. It's pretty much, set. It's nothing really he can do. Like, I'm not going to change it at the last minute. But with Kamala, I haven't seen much. So my opinion of her isn't, set in stone.
Okay. So in 2020, you didn't vote. Why would you likely be voting now when you didn't vote then?
Because I felt guilt of not voting previously. And so now I feel like obligated to vote. Like, I don't want to give up my right not to.
Okay. And is there any one person in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
I respect my husband's political views, and I would say that he has had an impact on who I vote for, just from conversations we've had, although I don't consider him like that more politically savvy than I am. Even like someone like him that can see and point out certain things makes me feel like I'm trying to ignore what's in front of me. But ultimately, I make my own decisions. His vote doesn't change anything in our household. We're completely open on who we vote for.
Is he voting for Trump?
I'm undecided.
No, is he voting for Trump?
Is he voting for Trump? Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I'm getting a. Sorry, Cindy, I'm not understanding what note you're sending me here. Could you ask Ben to rephrase it? I could circle back to Sharman. Okay. Thank you. We're good. Gunnar. So when we conducted a screening interview with you, you told us that you were undecided but leaning toward Trump. Since that time, has anything changed at all?
I feel like just based on Kamala's presentations over the past couple weeks, it's more towards Trump even more.
So on a scale from 0 to 10, where 0 is definitely not going to vote for Trump and 10 is definitely going to vote for Trump, how likely are you to vote for him?
Probably solid 8.
8, okay. In this decision process, was there ever a time when you were more likely to vote for Harris than Trump?
I think initially when she was on the ballot, I was kind of 50-50 split. I wanted to know what both candidates stood for and everything, but just kind of every time an interaction happened or a campaign or any important moment happened, kind of just pushed me more and more towards Trump.
Talk about what shifted for you. How did that happen? Like can you give me an example?
During the major presidential debate, it started off with kind of her dodging questions and not really giving a full-on answer. And then when certain questions about the economy came up, she proposed, giving loans to help buy houses when we're having a housing shortage right now, which is causing the higher prices. And then the unrealized capital gains tax, which would, push out a lot of our big money earners in our economy. And then, even closer to now, when she was on The View and was asked if anything different she would do from the Biden campaign, the Biden administration, she said nothing comes to mind. So seems to me like she just wants to continue what we've had for the past 4 years.
Got it. Thank you. If Harris came to you and asked, "What do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me?" what would you tell her?
You gotta tell me what you're actually campaigning for. What are your policies? I don't need to know that you were raised in a middle class family. I need to know what you plan on doing with the economy. What's your plan for the border? What's your plan for everything? I need to know what your stance is, not, about you.
Okay. In 2020, you didn't vote. Why are you voting now when you didn't vote the last time?
I had planned to vote in 2020, but a surprise 16-hour shift kind of cut my voting ability off there. So I planned on voting, wasn't able to, but this year I plan on doing it.
Okay, got it. So just work out in the way.
Mhm.
All right. And is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
Not really. I really don't talk too much about politics with people, so I'm not really sure too many political, stances from among my friends, family, and colleagues.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right, James. We conducted a screening interview with you. You told us you plan to vote for Trump. Since that time, has anything changed?
No.
Okay. Briefly, why do you plan to vote for him?
Purely, I mean, it's simple for me. My financial situation has declined repeatedly as being retired, and it's getting close to not being able to survive.
Okay. So help me understand this for a second. What gives you confidence that Trump in charge would give you a better financial situation than Harris in charge?
Well, I was better off when he was in as the president.
Okay. So the logic then is, if it was good the last time, it'll be good the next time. Is that basically the?
Yes.
Okay. Did you ever give any serious thought to voting for Harris?
No.
Okay. If she came to you and asked, "What do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me?" what would you tell her?
I'd ask her where she's been for the last 3.5 years.
In 2020, you didn't vote. Why are
Correct.
you voting now when you didn't vote the last time?
Well, I had a major event happen. I was moving, and by the time I got there, it was too late to register to Nevada. That is.
Okay. And is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
No, my family's fairly divided, but I do respect them immensely, but it doesn't change my vote, the way I'm voting.
Malachi, when we conducted a screening interview for this focus group, you told us you plan to vote for Trump. Since that time, has anything changed for you?
No.
Okay. Why do you plan to vote for him?
It's another turning point in like what transpired in his election, such as being shot, such as the convictions such as being a targeted ex-president slash want to run again president compared to all the other presidents in the history that actually got like something totally different. Like he's against the majority and the majority don't like it.
And why is that a reason to vote for him?
Because from the research of what I've been doing from the JFK to the George Washington to the Abraham Lincoln and the Grants and all the others, it's something that caught my attention that I'm more captivated by compared to what they went through.
Okay. Do you ever give any serious thought to voting for Harris?
Yes.
Okay. So if she came to you and asked, what do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me? What would you tell her?
Wrong time.
Meaning what?
Meaning she didn't run for like president. This like got thrusted to her because if she took the initiative in the beginning instead of the Biden type situation and she did it herself, it will be something that I'll be more gravitated towards compared to, oh, well, he's going down, he's going through whatever it is. So could you step up? We want to support you.
Okay. Let me ask you a hypothetical. So imagine that when Biden stepped aside back in July, he didn't just step aside, he stepped out of the presidency and made her president.
I didn't like it.
What?
I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Okay. So you still, even under that scenario, you still wouldn't want to support her?
No, because it was like an internship.
Okay. Got it. So back in 2020, you did not vote. Why are you voting now if you didn't vote the last time?
Officially, I wasn't allowed.
And why not?
Competency.
Competency?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
No.
All right. Zaire. When we conducted the screening interview, you told us you were 50-50 between Trump and Harris. Since that time, has anything changed at all for you in terms of your decision? Are you still 50-50 or something else?
I'm not 50-50. I don't know what it is, but I definitely feel like I'm something else.
Okay, so which way are you leaning?
I'm leaning, oh, Lord have mercy. It makes me nauseous, honestly. Like talking and thinking about it, it really makes me physically sick, to be honest. Because I'm leaning towards protecting my rights, my body, my daughter's body, women's reproductive rights, especially in the Black community, is something that should be taken very seriously. And it's something that we as a community should be able to govern. And that is what is making me lean more towards Harris. That one simple thing right there.
So hang on a second. So thanks for sharing that. In terms of not being 50-50, where are you? Are you 60-40, 90-10?
I would say I'm more 60-40.
60-40 to Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So explain to me why Trump still has 40 on his side. Based upon what you just said, why isn't it 100-0?
Trump still has 40 because in my community, during the Trump administration, my close community, we have more money in our households than some of them had ever seen in their entire lives. And that spoke volumes. A lot of us, myself included, are still thriving and in positions now because of things that happened during that administration. So the financial aspect is not lost on me, but the reason why he doesn't have 100% is because regardless of who has been in that seat and who's been the president, my communities have pretty much been the same. Our pockets have pretty much been the same. We, because we don't have big businesses in our communities, we do have a little bit more control over how we as entrepreneurs create our incomes and generate our incomes. So I feel like when it comes to the economy of my community, is not going to change much on a large scale, regardless of which one of those individuals is in the presidency.
Okay. So just so I want to make sure I'm hearing you correctly. So the case for Trump is the economy. The case for Harris is women's reproductive rights. Is that basically the bottom line that I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
In your mind, the women's reproductive rights is just a peg or two higher than the economic concerns.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. I didn't screw that up.
Nope.
All right, good. So if Trump came to you and asked, what do I need to do to change your mind and vote for me? What would you tell him?
Stop trying to govern women's bodies. Real simple. That's none of your business. You don't even have what I have. How can you tell me what to do with it?
Okay. So let me play devil's advocate. He comes back to you and he says, okay, Zaire, Roe v. Wade is overturned. And now every state can decide. Some states are going to have more liberal laws. Some states are going to have more conservative laws. Isn't that good enough for you?
Yeah, that's good enough for me. Let's go.
Well, that's what he's saying is happening right now. Went back to the states and the states get to decide. So why aren't you voting for Trump if he says that to you?
I don't believe anything that anybody says to me. I believe what you do. I believe what you show me. So
as a matter of law, each state is not deciding what they want to do on abortion. Okay.
Gotcha. Then that would completely shift my vote. I would completely have different thoughts about the complete. It would totally be different.
Okay.
I would be ready to vote for Trump.
Okay. Well, that's Trump's message on abortion is it's been sent back to the states. So if your state has a liberal abortion law, then you're good in that state.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not done yet. Harris is going to come to you and say, that's great. But if you decide to move from a liberal state to a conservative state and you need an abortion, you're screwed.
That's fine. I'm not moving.
Okay. Friends and family might move. Other
Okay.
people that you might care about might move. It's wrong to have a right that was granted in all 50 states now be decided state by state, where some women are denied something that you might take for granted in a more liberal state.
Completely understandable. I did not make my people move. I didn't make my family move.
Okay. So now hearing me give you both sides of the debate, where are you now? Did I shift you at all?
You definitely shifted me. That was my only hiccup. So I would be Team Trump.
Okay. So hold on a second, just so I understand this. So Trump says it's now state by state, and you're fine with state by state.
Mm-hmm.
So if there's a dozen states where a woman cannot get an abortion in the United States, where they could before, you're fine with that?
I don't live in those states.
What if your daughters decide they want to live in one of those states when they grow up?
My daughters, I promote right to choose and be your own person. As long as they're educated and they know what they're doing, that's on them and what they decide to do.
Okay. Got it. All right. If Harris came to you and said, what do I need to change your mind back? You've now jumped to Trump. I want you back. What does she need to say to you?
It really isn't too much for her to say at this point. The election's right around the corner, like it's show and prove time, like it's really nothing that she'd be able to say. Trump just he's been in the driver's seat before. That's really, the only difference.
Okay. So in 2020, you didn't vote. Why are you voting now when you didn't vote the last time?
I feel when Charmin said that she felt that accountability on her. When I looked up and I, took into account how everything was, I definitely felt a way about not, you know, putting in my ballot. I also want to be a better example for my kids. The right to vote is something that I, as a Black woman, should not take lightly, that I shouldn't play with. And I don't plan to play with it any longer.
And is there anyone in your life whose political views you respect? And if so, has that person had any impact on who you vote for?
Absolutely. Yes and yes. I respect my father. He is one of the most educated men I've ever met in my entire life. He is the individual who changed my mindset about Trump to begin with. I had very emotion-driven feelings toward him to begin with. And my dad, being the logical Aquarius man that he is, started to speak to the logic and the economy side of the situation. And so that did open my mind up.
Okay. And Charmin raised the concern that Trump is a racist. Do you think he's a racist?
I think that he probably is a racist. Most individuals are. Most individuals who have been in that seat are.
Okay, got it. So it just comes with the territory.
For sure.
Got it. Okay, thank you. Thank you all 6 of you for letting me push and prod you like that. For those of you who are leaning toward Trump, I'm just curious about something. What would be your reaction if he wins the election and over the course of the first year he's in office, the economy gets much worse? How do you think you'd feel? Anybody?
Shocked.
Anybody else? James, how would you feel?
I would be shocked as well.
Okay.
I would feel bamboozled.
Bamboozled.
I would also feel like I would also feel like it's just like still reflecting upon the last 4 years, and that hopeful that he's going to clean it up.
Okay. Those of you planning to vote for Harris, what would be your reaction if she wins the election and during her first year, the economy got much worse? Nicole, what would you say?
I mean, I don't know that I would say anything because I watch the world at large and see where we are compared to the rest of the world right now with inflation, and we're doing better. So I don't know that I would feel anything either way. It's just kind of roll with the punches as far as that goes.